Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This is a really exciting one. We are going to be tuning into your life destiny, your purpose, why you came to this planet, what your soul mission is. We're going to be getting into all of it. So today we have a selection of different cards for you to choose from. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And basically you're going to see which of these cards is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. And if you like how I read tarot and you would like to see more of it, then be sure to check out my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So they always get posted over there early. I just posted a reading all about messages from your future husband or spouse. And that's a great one to watch. But like I said, there is so much content to choose from, over 100 exclusive readings, and then you get to be the first to see my YouTube videos. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in going through my Patreon library and getting access to all those readings, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description, and I would love to see you there. And just a little heads up, I am doing a little pause on private readings right now. So if you watch this and there are still options up to book a private session with me, then that will be on my website over at briarrosetarot.com. Link for that is in my description. But if you're watching this when this video gets released, there's either one weekend left where I'm doing private readings, or it may already be shut down. So go ahead and check that availability. And I'm hoping I'll be feeling back to full strength soon and able to come back with the private sessions and more frequent readings here on YouTube, but stay tuned for that. So that's about all I have to say, guys. So if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. So you guys got this Faraway Places card. It says get ready for new horizons. So I feel like one of your spiritual missions in this lifetime is to experience a lot of things and to just broaden your horizons. Maybe one of your spiritual missions is to practice non-attachment, meaning not getting too obsessed with like one thing or another. Like if some of you guys have had trouble maybe feeling like I can't find love, like I get along with someone and then they leave me, or I hit it off but they don't want to stick around. That could be something Spirit is bringing into your life repeatedly, so that you end up really like learning not to fixate on one thing or another, learning to broaden your horizons, learning to explore all your options and not get too attached to one thing. That's what it's giving me, is like 9th house Sagittarius energy. So the openness to life, the openness to exploring, and moving away from this idea that it has to look one way, it has to work out, it has to be a certain thing, and realizing that you can have so many great experiences that can show up in like a myriad of ways, right? So it's almost like you can have an amazing committed relationship, you can have an amazing marriage and kids and like the house or whatever, but you can also have an amazing life being single and traveling and exploring the world, and that can be super gratifying. Or maybe you can have an amazing career and you excel at one thing and you become like CEO of that company, you work at that company your whole life. Or you can have an amazing career trying this, and then when you're 30, you become an artist, and then you move into graphic design and do that for like a tech company, and then you move overseas and you work there, and like that's a cool life too. And so it doesn't have to look one way or the other. And I feel like for you, once you accept this idea, a lot of you guys are gonna get the life you want, but it is about kind of like not getting obsessed or not feeling too attached or too rigid with like how your life is going to look. If you're trying to manifest things, this could even be something you should work into your manifestations, like not fixating on like, I have the best relationship, or I'm married, or I have a husband, and moving into like, I accept all the beautiful love that the universe gives me. You know what I mean? And learning to like take something out of that. Like, you don't necessarily have to have that ring on your finger. You don't necessarily have to have that one person. Maybe you can get just as much joy and fulfillment out of like flirting with this person and talking to this person and, having this kind of like fun relationship. And maybe it doesn't last forever, but if you are in that energy of abundance and getting the most out and having fun, then I feel like that is when you are going to be able to manifest so much, pile one. So let's get into some more cards for you. Actually, let's start with the astro dice. So let's see what astrological energies want to come through for pile one. So we got Capricorn, Mars, and the eighth house. Ooh, these are all pretty heavy houses. So we have double Saturn. Wait, that was in Mars though. Okay, so we have, yeah, I think it rolled over. Okay, so we have Mars and Capricorn in the eighth house. So that is a really powerful placement. Capricorn is where Mars is exalted. It's in its highest power in Capricorn, and it does really well in the eighth house. The eighth house is a domicile house. It's ruled by Scorpio, which is connected through with Mars. So I feel like this is about embracing your power as well, unleashing your power fully, not holding any of it back. There's something so bold about like Mars in the eighth house or Mars in the first house, Mars in Mars houses, where it's like, I'm not even going to pretend to be soft, sweet, or nice, or like meek or anything like that. It's not like a Libra Mars that might be afraid to rock the boat or doesn't want to upset people. It's like, I want to upset people. I want to disrupt things. I want to come in. And I feel like this is, again, connected with this Sagittarius energy, that part of your like life goal, life purpose is to disrupt things. It's to be as bold and true to yourself as possible, and maybe to go after exactly what you want. If you have been holding yourself back, if you have been filtering yourself, editing yourself, or kind of wanting to keep yourself in like a safe place, this can also be about trusting yourself. This can be about, I have faith in the process. I know that I am going to be okay at the end of this. You know what I mean? Like, I know that if I am bold enough and brave enough to go after what I want, that no matter what outcome happens, I'm going to be able to handle myself. That's really what, in my opinion, practicing non-attachment does, is it gives you that confidence and that sense of like, hey, it's okay if it doesn't work out, like it's okay if I go on this date and I hit it off and I really like this guy and I'm like so excited, and then he texts me and he's like, oh, I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to crash out. It's not going to be the end of the world, because you know what? I know I have so many other people who are into me, and I'm going to keep that confidence no matter what. So when I go into the date, I'm going to be aligned with that powerful, confident energy. I'm not going to be nervous. I'm not going to be desperate for him to text me back. I'm not going to be like shaking as I eat my linguine. I'm going to be really enjoying it, really present, because I know no matter what happens, I'm okay. Or if I go into that job interview and they don't call me back afterwards, or I get the job and then I get fired after a month, you know what? I know I'm going to be able to find another job, because I know I'm that freaking awesome. I can handle myself. I am in demand. I am desirable. I'm bringing it to the table. And so, you know what? I'm not even going to stress about that. I'm going to go in super confident and like enjoy myself. And that energy is so, so, so magnetic. So I do feel like Spirit is calling on you just to have that inner faith, that inner confidence that like, no matter what life throws at you, no matter what twists and turns it takes, no matter what direction your life goes in, you are supposed to have that faith in yourself. And for that reason, Spirit may throw you a lot of curveballs. You guys may have a really interesting life compared to other people. Sometimes you may feel a little behind. Sometimes you might be like, what the heck is going on? Like, this friend got settled down, or everyone from my high school is like married with kids and I'm still single, or everyone from my high school is like living in the same small town and I'm in the big city, like struggling at my job. Or the opposite, everyone seems to have moved to the big city and they have these careers, and I'm in my small town and I'm kind of struggling and I haven't figured it out yet. And what the heck's going on? And I do feel like Spirit is doing that to you to challenge you, because it's almost like you are ready to level up in this lifetime. You're ready to face these challenges. You don't need to stay in the safety zone. You need to trust yourself, because trust me, you can handle everything that spirit is going to throw your way. Pile number one, you guys have got this 1000%. And so there is no need to be living in fear. I feel like spirit does really want you to embrace that bravery. Let me get into these cards for you. Pile number one. So what is pile number one supposed to be doing in this lifetime? What is their spiritual mission in this lifetime? Okay, so we got currents of emotion, uncontrolled feelings, past life guides, karmic lessons, past adventures, Archangel Phanuel, hope, optimism, new beginnings. And this is divine presence, the force of love and creation, and family tree, expansion, legacy. So let me arrange these so you guys can see them a little bit better. But yeah, I do feel like for a lot of you guys, uncontrolled emotions is making me think, again, you guys are supposed to be feeling all the things. I think so much of the time when we are like afraid in life, it's because we really feel like we can't handle ourselves from a certain emotion. You know, it's like, oh my God, if this happens, I'll be devastated. If I fall in love with this guy and then he doesn't like me back, then I'm going to have my heart broken and then I wouldn't be able to handle that and I'd be so upset. So I'm not even going to go on the date. I'm not even going to text him back because you know what? I can't deal with that. I cannot deal with the heartbreak. Or I'm not going to even try to get this job because honestly, if I lost out to this job, like this is my dream and I'd be so embarrassed. I'd be so humiliated. So I'm not even going to apply. And so on and so forth. And the thing about it is like life is meant to be lived, you know? This is definitely giving me that Sagittarius energy. Maybe some of you guys have Sagittarius North nodes or ninth house North nodes, but I do feel like a lot of you guys are just here to experience all the things, to feel all the things, and to realize at the end of the day, you're so resilient that it's like anything being thrown your way is okay. And even with Archangel Phanuel, to stay optimistic in the face of it, you know, not to let life beat you down. There is an art in that. Like, it's funny because the ninth house, it may seem, I feel like to an outsider, Sagittarius energy, kind of immature. Like, oh, it's just about traveling, having fun. And yeah, there's a spiritual component, but the main focus is like travel and education. So it's like, okay, this isn't a heavy house. But when you think about the act of traveling, like hopping on a plane and flying to some foreign country and you don't speak the language, especially for most of human history, when it wasn't even getting on a plane, it was like getting on some rickety little boat and you didn't have Google Translate. You didn't have, you know, TripAdvisor. You couldn't look up like reviews on Google and be like, oh, this hotel actually has some mold or something, you know, or they're not, yeah, it's really loud, so I'm not going to stay there. You were just trusting. It was like blind faith. You had to be really brave to fly, you couldn't fly somewhere. So you had to get on a boat most of the time or travel by like train or travel by land. I mean, it was really scary and you were taking your life in your hands and there was like no way to communicate with the other person, right? There's such a boldness to that. And there's something so spiritually deep about trusting that process, about opening yourself up to that energy and being like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. I am okay with that. I'm okay if I go to this restaurant and I can't read the menu and I end up getting food poisoning, or I go to this country and I have a horrible time. I get scammed out of money, or I just, you know, like can't make any friends. I feel so alone. But you know what? I am going to trust this process and I'm going to grow through that. And I feel like that's what, you know, one of your life missions is just having that optimism and keeping yourself going, not keeping yourself in this energy of fear or thinking of the worst case scenario, but thinking of the best case scenario, thinking of not, oh my God, what if this trip is awful? And, you know, I have like the worst time, but thinking like, what if it's amazing? What if I fall in love? What if it's the best food I've ever had in my life? What if I am just so happy and this hotel is incredible and I'm like so in love with this place? Like, it reminds me of the first time I went to Tokyo, where I randomly had this kind of download insight from spirit that I should go to Tokyo. And I was like not super interested in going to Tokyo, to be honest. It's funny because I feel like everyone loves Japan. And even when I was in Tokyo in Japan, you know, some of the like local Japanese people, when I would talk to them, they would ask me like, oh, what brings you here? And I would be like, I don't really know, to be honest, because I wasn't super familiar with like anime I didn't really know a lot of like Japanese pop culture. And I made some friends there and they said, you know, oh, like most of the time people are here. They're here to watch anime, or they're here because they're a fan of this or manga or something. And I was like, no, I don't really know anything about that stuff. I don't really know too much about Japanese food, nothing. But I ended up falling in love with Japan and Tokyo. And I still think it's such a special place. Now I completely get the hype. But my point is that I kind of had to take that blind leap of faith, and I really had no idea what to expect. Like when I first got the download, I was like, Japan, Tokyo, like, okay. I mean, not anything against it, but I was like, I don't know why I'm being drawn here. I'm not too familiar with this place. And then it ended up being almost like life-changing. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting, is like trusting that process, trusting your intuition, and allowing the experience to be whatever it's going to be. I'm actually so grateful that when I went to Japan, I didn't have any preconceived notions. I hadn't watched anime and had like this idea in my head. I didn't have this like list of expectations of like, okay, I'm going to try this and go to this landmark. I was just like, okay, I'm here, and whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. And it was like so amazing. And I honestly think sometimes that's the best way to travel, is like not doing too much research beforehand, or not having this idea in your head of like, it has to look like this. I want to try this. Let me take this thing off. But it's just like letting life steer you where it's going to steer you, and trusting that like, if I've been guided here, if I'm being called here, it's for a reason. And I feel like for you, this is a very high spiritual lesson. Again, it may seem low level, like, okay, so I just have to be optimistic and travel. That sounds easy, but there's so much boldness to do that. And when life beats us down and life gives us these like negative experiences, it's so easy to go into your shell, to stop trusting, to start thinking of the worst case scenario, to start thinking of like, oh my God, this is going to go bad. So let me just stay at home. Let me just not put myself out there. Let me just run away. And instead of doing that, to move towards the fear, to move towards the uncertainty, to be like, okay, getting out of my comfort zone. And I feel like that's what you're really being called to do, is like push yourself out of any safety zone and trust that spirit has got you. And also, I do feel like you guys are old souls. We got past life guides. And to me, what's coming through with that is like, you guys have lived many lifetimes and you've been around the block. And this is what I'm saying, is like, you can handle yourself. You have this Mars in the 8th house energy. Like, okay, you are not going to be brought down. Mars in Capricorn, where it's exalted energy, you're not going to be easy to take out. You're not an easy target. You have this inner core of strength, okay? You're so powerful. You are so capable of dealing with all of this. So there really is no need to be living in fear or wondering if you can handle it. It's like, absolutely you can. And that's why I said, you may have a really interesting life that's full of twists and turns and ups and downs that maybe someone else couldn't handle, or they would be completely overwhelmed with. But I feel like spirit has given you those ups and downs because they know you got this. Like, you're not a wilting flower that is going to tap out at the first crisis or the first difficulty. If anyone can handle it, you can. Pile number 1. Let's get into these message cards for you. What is pile number 1's destiny and mission in this lifetime? Spiritual path. Let's see. This one says, deep inward journey. You will be rewarded for the work. Okay. And let's get one more. Come together. We need each other. Where have you been separating yourself or pushing against the world? And again, I'm getting that as a message for some of you guys, that like, I know for sure. I mean, I'm sure we've all experienced this. Sometimes you go through something difficult and you're like, oh, I'm never going to date again, or I'm never going to be in another job like that again, or I'm going to just stay in my safety zone because you know what? I can't trust people, or this friend screwed me over. So I'm not going to like open up. And I feel like, again, this is kind of that message about having that bravery and realizing that the ecstasy and the fulfillment we get from opening ourselves to the world is so much better than the safety of closing ourselves off, right? The feeling we have of like, oh my God, I am so in love, or I love my job, or this is so cool. I'm in the middle of like I don't know, Shinjuku or Asakusa or somewhere in Tokyo is so much better than if I was at home. Even if I'm a little scared, even if I don't speak the language, even if I feel a little lost right now and I'm trying to navigate and I don't speak any Japanese, I can't read the language, it's still going to be freaking cool to be there and to be in a new place and to be experiencing life to the fullest. And learning that art of like picking ourselves back up after we get knocked down, that is also so cool. And it's something that just that act in itself is like this huge demonstration of trust in the universe. When we continuously put ourselves out there, when we don't hide ourselves away and we push ourselves, like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying. I'm not going to allow myself to get scared. I'm not going to allow myself to retreat into the safety zone. I'm going to push myself to be as bold and as brave and as optimistic as possible. That is a demonstration of trust and faith. And also, this is another thing that's coming through, is just appreciating the process and not focusing so much on the long-term result. One of my favorite lessons that I think about all the time is that, I guess, Buddhist monks, they have this ritual where they will make sand art. And over the course of about a week, they will very intricately weave different colored art, sand until it forms like a geometric pattern that's really beautiful. And then after that's completed, then after about a week, it's this gorgeous pattern. They put it on display. It's like beautiful, intricate art to look at. And then systematically, they take like a little rake and they just destroy it in a couple, like a couple strokes. They just ruin it. And the whole point is to, again, teach non-attachment and teach that living in the moment is the most important thing. And there's also a beauty in just making art for art's sake. I think, again, we can fixate so much on the end result. Like, oh my God, I spent a week on this painting and you're telling me it got ruined. I mean, so many of us would struggle with that. If we worked on something for a week and then someone came along and ruined it, we'd be like freaking out, right? And it's totally a normal human reaction. But when we really learn to transcend that and just focus on like, you know what, I got what I wanted out of the process. I got what I wanted out of, or I got what I needed. Sometimes it's not about what you want, it's about what you need. I always think it's like sometimes people will get in a relationship, they'll have a child or something, then they break up and they'll be like, oh my God, I hate my ex-husband or I hate my ex-wife. And, sometimes that's valid. Sometimes people are really horrible in relationships, but it's also like, maybe that was fated for you to bring forth that child, and the energy, the spirit of that child was meant to come through. And whatever happened in the context of that relationship can still be beautiful for what it was. And it doesn't need to be, okay, we either worked out and we ended up together forever, or I hate this person. It can be like, I am so grateful for the time we spent together. And yeah, we didn't work out forever, but still we got this amazing kid out of it. And even if we didn't get anything, even if I just enjoyed my life for that period of time, then that's good enough. That's worth it on its own. So yeah, I feel like for you guys, this is really high level spiritual work. I do feel like you guys are very ascended souls. I feel like you have lived many lifetimes and you're ready for this higher level challenge, which is about non-attachment. Again, I'm getting like a lot of Sagittarius energy and some Pisces energy. Both of those signs are ruled by Jupiter. Both of those signs are at the very tail end of the zodiac. These are high level lessons, very spiritual energies. These are very high level lessons to learn not to fixate, not to be obsessed with like it has to look this way, but being very open to whatever the universe does bring you and unfold to you. I want to get some final messages for you, pile number 1. What is pile number 1's spiritual mission in this lifetime, Spirit? Let's see. Okay, we got perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. This one says, the seas of Mintaka. Seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to life. The cosmic heart, devotion, potency, making your life a moving prayer. And let's get one more message. Okay, guys, get 2 messages. This one says, I remember, soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. And this one says, Star Keeper, cosmic ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. So yeah, I think a lot of this, the perspective card, none of this matters. And sometimes again, we have that tendency to sweat the small stuff, to be obsessed with like, this person treated me badly, or I can't believe this job didn't work out, or I can't believe I got screwed over. But if we can pan out and be like, I'm alive, I'm human, I got to have this experience, I'm still standing, I'm still strong, I'm still powerful, the sun is still shining in the sky, it's still another day on this beautiful earth, then we cannot be so fixated on the small things, the small hiccups, and we can instead pay attention to the ultimate trajectory we're on, the ultimate thing we're getting out of this. And I do feel like you guys came to this earth to learn some major spiritual lessons. You came to this earth to master things. Again, I do feel like you guys are older souls, and some of this is learning just to allow fate to affect you, allow fate to carry you on its winds, and not to be so rooted to this one idea that it has to look a certain way, it has to turn out a certain way, that if it doesn't work out or look this way, that you're not going to be happy, but instead to like find joy and happiness and fulfillment in whatever spirit brings your way. So that is what I have for you, pile number 1. I really hope that resonates, guys. If it does, make sure to leave this video a like, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that little bell. All those things really help the channel. And as always, let me know in the comments, because I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your thoughts, your reactions. So please let me know what you think. And if you would like to see more of my content, then be sure to head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about messages from your future husband. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're wanting to hear some messages from your spouse in the future down the road, then be sure to watch that one. But there is so much content to choose from. Like I said, over 100 readings. And then you also get to be the first to watch all my YouTube videos. If you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, actually, I think I am tamping down on that right now. I needed a little bit of a break. So if there's still booking availability up, then feel free to book, but I am going to be going on pause for a little while. Anyway, you can head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, to see my availability for private readings, if there are any still available at this time. And hopefully I will be back soon, able to film as many videos and do private readings again. But for the time being, I am taking a little bit of a break. And yeah, but thanks for watching, guys. I'm sending you all my love, and I will see you very soon again in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 2, welcome to your reading. So for your card, you guys got fogged in, go slow, take time. So I feel like there's a few different destinies that you guys could be learning. One of them may be accepting different timelines. This could be experiencing perseverance through late success. So like if there has been something you've been working on, you've been pushing at, and you've been wondering like, why isn't this happening? Or what am I doing wrong? Or why is this happening so much sooner for my friends or for family members? Or what the heck is going on with this timeline? I'm doing everything I can. This could be part of your destiny, is learning that perseverance and learning that you don't have to operate by anyone else's timeline, and that you are on your own path, and maybe learning to keep your chin up and have that success after a while. It's bringing to my mind this quote I just heard from Winston Churchill, where he said something like, the only thing that separates a winner from a loser is that the winner embraces failure over and over again. Something like that. I feel like that is so true. It kind of reminds me about how Thomas Edison, he had, I think, 1,000 different prototypes of the light bulb before he finally found one that worked. And that is so true. For so many people that have that big success, it doesn't happen right away. And for some reason, it's like the universe needs to test you and make sure that you're actually committed, and that you actually care, and that you're not going to be dissuaded or freak out or give up at that last second when things are hard. And sometimes it's just about pushing yourself through the resistance, pushing yourself through the hard times to get to the benefit. It's kind of like when you see that Olympic swimmer and they're, winning gold and they're standing on the podium and everything looks so awesome for them. And then they're going to like an after party at the Olympic Village after, and they're getting these brand deals. You're not seeing all the days they woke up at like 4 a.m. and swam in the dark when no one else was around and had like nasty hair from all the chlorine and had to eat like, 20 eggs a day or something because they needed the protein. Like all those things that go into success. A lot of times we don't get to see it. And it's like, if you're not willing, I'm sure there are times, I'm not someone who's been in the Olympics. I'm sure I never could be, but the point is, I'm sure that stuff, it's easy to feel like you want to give up when you're nowhere near ready to be on that podium. You're maybe 14 and you're several years off from being able to be in the Olympics, and you still have to have that perseverance. You still have to have your eye on the prize, even when nothing is working out. And I feel like for you guys, you could have it in your destiny path to have some kind of underdog story, to have some kind of victory, to have some kind of moment of success that could shine a light for others as well. It could be that signal to others that like, you can keep going, you can keep trying, you can keep persevering, and you don't need to be dissuaded just because it doesn't happen right away. It doesn't mean it's not for you. And sometimes it is about showing that commitment to the universe, showing to the universe and your guides that like, yes, I do want this. Yes, I'm willing to fight for this. Yes, I don't want anything else, like, no, this is for me. It's kind of like, it's reminding me of like sometimes when you go to a restaurant and they say like, if you want the souffle or if you want some special dish, like it's almost like the more special the dish is, the more likely they'll say like, you have to notify us, this, I know this place that has amazing souffles, but it says on the menu that you have to order it like, I think 40 minutes in advance. So if you want that souffle for dessert, you're going to have to put that order in like, when you sit down, you're going to have to put it in when you're getting your appetizers or whatever, because that it's going to be extra special. I know for my birthday, we went out to a place that had like 4 or 5 courses. And when I tell you, I was kind of tired on my birthday. And this meal went on for like, it literally was like a 3.5-hour meal. I was like so tired. I actually we told the waiter, like, can you speed it up a little? Like, not trying to be rude, but like, I was so hungry. But it's like, the more special the meal is, the more courses, the more fancy, the more of a special occasion it is, the more likely that restaurant is they're gonna take their time. They're not gonna rush you. If you want to get just like a Big Mac and you just don't care, or you want like 6 chicken nuggets, you can go to McDonald's and get that stuff in like 2 minutes, right? But if you want that like fine dining experience, a lot of times you got to settle in, you got to have some wine, you got to relax, you got to be patient. I was not patient that night. I was like, I need my food and I'm starving, also because the portions were really small. It's like, that's another thing about fine dining. You get those little tiny like bite-sized appetizers, and I was like, I'm so hungry. But anyway, it ended up being really good. But the point is, like, sometimes the more special the thing is, the more time it's going to take, the less you're going to be able to rush it. Again, like that special meal, there are places like steakhouses where like maybe there's something really nice on the menu, like a Wagyu steak that they have to special order. And it will say, like, if you want the Wagyu steak, you have to order 2 days in advance. Or if you want, like I said, the souffles are complicated. They're tricky to make. They can't just line them up in the kitchen. So if you want to order it, you have to special order it like an hour in advance. And then they have time to actually make it. And I feel like for you, some of you guys, like, you're building something so special. You're building something that's so unique, that's not easily accessible for everyone. And part of this is just learning the patience. Part of this is learning to accept that process and not to rush it and not to be on a certain timeline. This could also be about learning to kind of stop and smell the roses in between. Like, it's almost giving Taurus energy. It's funny I mentioned like fine dining because that's such a Taurus energy thing. And that's the thing. Tauruses are the master builders. Second house is a house of earned income and massive success. but it's also a slow house. Taurus energy is quite slow. It's a fixed sign. It doesn't change its mind. And also Taurus energy is all about loving and experiencing the finer things in life. So maybe that's why those houses are interlinked. Sometimes when you're building something really amazing, you have to have that patience. So what better way to have patience than to experience all the beautiful things in life in the in-between period, right? Instead of just living life like so functional, like, okay, I'm just going to eat prison food all the time and I'm just going to make myself work and I'm just going to like have this utilitarian life. Maybe it's about taking yourself out, treating yourself, having good food, enjoying things, stopping to smell the roses. And that will give you more patience to deal with the delays, to deal with the fact that, yeah, it hasn't happened by now, but you know what? This is a beautiful aspect of life. It's a beautiful day. I had some beautiful food. Let me enjoy these small moments instead of focusing so much on timelines or why this hasn't happened or what's next. Let me live right now. I want to get some astro dice for you guys. Pile number 2. What's the I can't talk. Astrological energies at play for pile 2. Wow. Okay, we have the North Node, Gemini, the 10th house, aka Capricorn. So we have North Node in Gemini in the 10th house. Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, I feel like for you guys, Gemini energy is also about learning to enjoy all the different things, learning to be very open. It's a very curious energy. So a Gemini North Node, again, could have that in their destiny to learn to explore, to learn to be open, to learn to not be rooted or fixated on one kind of life experience, but instead to welcome it all in. Also in the 10th house, that's a house of career success, and it is ruled by Saturn. It's connected through with Capricorn. Of course, Saturn does give us huge blessings only after we've overcome certain lessons. So with your North Node in Gemini in the 10th house, I feel like this could be embracing that element of hard work. This could be about embracing that there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to go about accomplishing something, but that inevitably anything big or exciting or impactful that we want to bring into the world, it is going to involve maybe an element of suffering or hardship, or it doesn't happen right away. And that's exactly how it's supposed to happen. And maybe with the Gemini energy, we're even supposed to be like a jack of all trades and try this out and try that out and move into this and then learn about that and go here and do that. Because that's so Gemini. A lot of Geminis, like they end up in multiple careers. They end up, having totally different groups of friends that are super diverse, and they kind of know all the gossip because they're hearing from like every single person. And I do feel like for you guys, this message is about, like I said, maybe even diversifying your idea of life, of what life has to be, from like, I have to accomplish this now, or my life has to look a certain way, into like, I'm just going to enjoy where I'm at right now. I am going to prove to the universe that I'm open, that I'm going to allow life to take me where it wants to take me. Also, the fact that the North Node came out tells me that you guys have a very important destiny. You could be tasked with bringing something through to the collective, to the universe, to people that is so powerful and impactful. The North Node is our destiny and our purpose. And for it to come out in this reading, I just feel like a lot of you guys who picked this pile, there's something big for you to do. It may even have to do with affecting the collective, because Gemini is communication. So Gemini is often really well adapted to our modern day era of like being online, any kind of communication where you're speaking to the masses can be Gemini. It's connected on the axis with Sagittarius, the 9th house of publishing. So it could be something to do with like YouTube, it could be TikTok, it could be any social media, it could be writing, publishing. It's often about sharing our experiences, talking about things. You guys could have a destiny that has to do with like communicating and sharing your perspective. And again, I feel like the more delays you have, some of your life destiny and purpose is to show that message to other people that you can get through this. So it could be about, you're supposed to communicate to others your experiences. You're supposed to go through the hard times so you can be that shining light in the darkness to others. And you can tell others like, hey, I know it's hard I know it's difficult, but I got through it. And I know you can get through it too. You know, there is that message and that destiny for you that like you're meant to share. You're meant to inspire. You are meant to communicate with others and give them that little bit of hope and that knowledge that like, just because you had one bad day or just because something doesn't work out right away doesn't mean it's not meant for you. And I feel like you are supposed to be open about that. You're supposed to be a shining example of that. If you've ever felt low-key a little embarrassed, like, oh my God, everyone's moving forward and I just feel so stagnant and it's so embarrassing to post on my Instagram and just I'm doing the same thing year after year. Maybe you are meant to have that so that when you pop out with like the dream career you wanted or the dream relationship or the dream life, that later on people are like, whoa, how did this person do that? And they get inspired that they can do it too. They get inspired that like, oh my gosh, this person, you know, found love after divorce, or this person was struggling with their career and now they have $1 million business, or this person was, you know, lost and didn't know what they wanted and now they're like happily married or they're living abroad or they just have this beautiful life and I want that so much and that's so cool for them. So yeah, I do feel like you guys are meant to inspire others in some major way, and it is meant to be public with the 10th house. That is a house of public honors and achievements that everyone gets to see and witness. So let's get into some more cards for you. Pile number 2. Excuse me. What is pile number 1? Pile number 2's destiny and purpose in this lifetime. Let's see. So we got achievements, completion, reward. I'm telling you guys, there's something you're supposed to accomplish that's going to be so big. This one says Archangel Raziel, inspiration, wisdom, Akashic records. Relaxation, peaceful pursuits, happy times. And let me get one more card. We got emotional desert, inactivity, isolation, journey guide, travel, change in location. So yeah, I love how many of these cards are about achievement, but also about this relaxation, this happy times. I feel like for you, a lot of your destiny and life purpose too is about not having such a rigid mindset. Again, Gemini is such an adaptable energy. Geminis will always have like a million interests going through their head, a million different strategies. It's that third house of, so many different things that the third house has to do with communication, short-term travel. And to me, the third house is just a very curious house. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Geminis love to learn. A lot of times talking to a Gemini is easy because they just know about so many different random things that you can talk to them about literally anything and they'll like hold the conversation down. They'll have something to say. And I feel like Geminis are very adaptable. You know, they do not have some idea that like it has to look like this, or we have to talk about that, or this is what I have to do in my job, or this is the only kind of friend I want to have. A lot of times they have a lot of diversity. They have a very diverse friend group full of different types of personalities, or they have worked in a ton of different jobs, or, you know, they have so many different interests that they can barely keep their ideas straight in their minds. And I feel like what's coming to my mind for you is like not having this rigid idea of what your life has to look like, but kind of enjoying life in the time being and allowing spirit to bring you to lots of different events and occasions and then seeing kind of like what works out. So this could even be something like you have, like say your dream would be to have a TikTok account or a YouTube account. It may be that your first couple TikTok accounts or YouTube accounts don't really work out, but you keep trying, you keep doing different interests, you try this, try that, and then eventually something hits and you're like, okay, yes, this is the one for me. So it's almost like you're still staying fixated on that goal. You're still thinking long term, but you're not being so rigid in that it has to work out a certain way. I really feel like a huge destiny for you guys is some kind of breakthrough, some kind of success that you may have to try out for a while. It may feel a little bit like you're just pushing, pushing, pushing against a closed door. And you're like, what the heck? Why isn't this not working? Why am I getting so many setbacks? But I do feel like long term, you're going to be like, wow, I am so glad that I kept pushing. I am so glad that I didn't get dissuaded. I'm so glad that I stayed open and I allowed the universe to bring me all these different experiences. And I felt the resonance with which one I was drawn to the most. And that was the one that worked out. I feel like as well, you are supposed to enjoy some kind of a good life. You're supposed to enjoy the season you're at and not rush the process. That's so important for you guys. I feel like for you, that's what I'm getting from this Archangel Raziel card, inspiration. It's like, it's almost like it's easy to be inspired in the middle of summertime when like everything is beautiful outside. It's easy to feel happy. It's easy to feel joyful when like the sun is shining and it's like a really nice temperature. And it's a little bit harder to stay inspired, positive, optimistic, happy when you're in the depths of winter. But doing that is what is actually going to bring you that huge success. Again, it's kind of like Albert Einstein, or not Einstein, Edison, Thomas Edison. Him having to go through 1,000 prototypes for the light bulb. You could only imagine how discouraged he must have felt when he was at like 800 something prototypes and none of them had worked, and he probably felt such a strong urge to just give up and be like, you know what, screw this, it isn't meant to be. I tried, I gave it a full shot. But what really separates the winners from the losers is keeping their eyes on the prize, keeping themselves going and pushing themselves through this desert into, you know, the beautiful time, into the success time. That's what really separates the people who will win from the people who will lose. It's almost like once you're in the middle of this desert, you've been wandering around for a really long time in the desert. It may be so easy to get discouraged and just be like, screw it, I'm never getting out of this desert. Let me just chill. Let me just lay down in the sand and give up. But the people that are going to reach that success are going to keep pushing themselves, keep their eyes on the prize, remind themselves that there is a way out of this desert. There is a beautiful, better land ahead of them, and just keep going. So yeah, I feel like a lot of this is about your resilience. It's about learning to push through. And it's about really focusing your intuition on what is pulling you and guiding you, capturing your attention and bringing you to that place where you do feel inspired and you do feel like you're ready to keep trying. So, because that's the thing, when you're really doing something that you're so in alignment with, a lot of times you have extra energy to push through the hard times. You have extra energy to keep going through the hardship because you really love that, you know? So some of this is about finding your purpose. Let's get into these cards. Messages for pile 2 about their destiny and soul purpose. This one says, rise above it. It's not yours to carry. You are an empath. How can you detach from the drama? Okay. And this one is, breathe. This moment matters most. How can you focus on the moment and appreciate that all is well? I love that card for you guys. I feel like that's the thing, is when we take away this idea of a certain timeline, of it has to look a certain way, it's actually so easy to just live in the moment, appreciate where we are, and kind of like drink in this beautiful energy around us. And the more we stay obsessed with a certain timeline, with it has to look a certain way, with why hasn't this worked out, or this needs to happen on this level, or this needs to happen immediately, or comparing ourselves to others, comparing ourselves with their path, the more we're taking ourselves out of that moment and out of that success alignment. The more we're in that positive energy of like, I know it's all working out for me. This is freaking awesome. I'm really happy with where I'm at. I'm really joyful. I feel so aligned. That's when everything starts unfolding in our favor. So yeah, I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is about learning to keep your eyes on the prize, but also accept that it may happen in an unexpected or in a surprising way. Like, it doesn't have to happen in a way that you have planned out and predicted. And some of the delight of life is like being surprised, right? It is that Gemini energy that, like, oh my God, this came out of nowhere, or I wasn't expecting this, or this is so out of the blue. This is so random. I could never have had this rigid idea. I mean, the Gemini, the third house, is a mutable house. So it's a lot of times it's mutable air. It's very changeable. It's very like unpredictable. And I feel like for you, this is about really accepting that whatever happens to you is on some divine path. It's not for you to figure out all the details. It's just about for you to accept where you're at right now and allow life to carry you where it wants to carry you. Let's get into some final messages for you, pile number 2, about pile 2's spiritual path and mission in this life, Spirit. So we got all paths lead home, inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. This one says, the courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. Okay. And lost lands, soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. And portal, doors are opening. You decide. Rewards, wild card. This is definitely a wild card energy. It just seems like you are meant to surprise people. You're meant to delight people. You're meant to like shock people. You may be meant to have this really unpredictable path. And I do feel like a lot of this is about, again, being seen by others, being a beacon of light, being an example. Like, maybe you are supposed to look like you're flailing, or you're supposed to look like you're not doing so well. You're supposed to have those people gossiping about you and saying like, oh, I'm worried about pile number 2. They're not doing so well, or there's something off with them, or yeah, they really haven't had that success, or I thought they'd be doing better, whatever negative stuff. And then those people are supposed to see you like come from behind. Those people are supposed to see you suddenly thrive. Those people are supposed to see you do a 180 and everything shifts in a moment. So if you have been feeling like there's a lot of delays, or there's a lot of setbacks, or, you know, life is stagnant, please do not doubt that that is part of your process, okay? And it's almost like in a movie. You know, we love those movies where like the odds are stacked against someone. It would be a pretty boring movie if like the whole time the protagonist is winning. That's why we want to see those action movies where it looks like the hero is losing, or we want to see those romance films where the couple that's supposed to get together, like they hate each other the whole time at first, and then eventually they fall in love. Like if Pride and Prejudice or whatever other romantic film, they just got along the whole time, and they just like had a normal courtship and fell in love and everything was smooth sailing. We wouldn't want to watch that. We want to watch it because of the drama. We want to watch it because it's fun to see everything change. That's what makes it so dynamic. That's what fascinates people. So I do feel like everyone around you is supposed to witness this. You coming from behind, you having major success, massive change, breaking through chains, breaking through boundaries, and everyone is supposed to witness this. It is somehow supposed to be in the public eye. You may also have a destiny to do something in the public eye, to kind of like be an example to others, or to have some kind of public platform. I really feel that for you, pile number 2. But either way, I feel like your success is meant to be a huge deal. It's supposed to be something so many people see and are inspired by, and you were put on this planet to prove people wrong, to make them realize that they underestimated you, and to also inspire potential in others and make them realize that if you can do it, maybe they can have their own success too. So that is what I have for you, pile number 2. I really hope that resonates, guys. If it does, make sure to leave this video a like, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that little bell. All those things really help the channel. And as always, let me know in the comments, because I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your thoughts, your reactions. So please let me know what you think. And if you would like to see more of my content, then be sure to head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about messages from your future husband. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're wanting to hear some messages from your spouse in the future down the road, and then be sure to watch that one. But there is so much content to choose from. Like I said, over 100 readings. And then you also get to be the first to watch all my YouTube videos. If you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, actually, I think I am tamping down on that right now. I needed a little bit of a break. So if there's still booking availability up, then feel free to book, but I am going to be going on pause for a little while. Anyway, you can head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, to see my availability for private readings if there are any still available at this time. And hopefully I will be back soon, able to film as many videos and do private readings again. But for the time being, I am taking a little bit of a break. And yeah, but thanks for watching, guys. I'm sending you all my love, and I will see you very soon again in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So you guys got Ascending the Mountain, keep going forward. So the fact that this says Ascending the Mountain says to me that you guys have some kind of major destiny or accomplishment you're supposed to achieve. You're supposed to have some kind of huge level of success. And it may be very public, something that a lot of people can see or a lot of people can observe. I feel like for you, you're also supposed to learn to not kind of take on criticism or not be easily dissuaded. I am feeling like there is a destiny attached to this pile where you may attract criticism, you may attract haters, you may feel like a lot of people just don't get you, or they just don't see the good in you. They see the negative. They always have something nasty to say, or you always feel like you're getting these setbacks. Like what may seem or look easy to someone else, for you, it just seems like it takes so much more work, or it's like so much more trouble going through it and dealing with it. And you just face this level of negativity from other people, from maybe your work or what is required of you. And it just is like this Herculean task to like get anything done. And I feel like part of your destiny is to learn to really focus on your path, and that whatever you're tasked with, like you are supposed to deal with the haters. You're supposed to process that and learn to not pay any attention to it. You are supposed to learn to block that out and keep your eyes on the prize. It's almost like, when you're hiking or when you are climbing up that mountain, you kind of have to keep your eyes on the trail. Yeah, I mentioned before, but there was this one time I was hiking in mountains in like Virginia, and it was so beautiful, and I kind of got separated from the person I was hiking with, and I got completely lost. I didn't think it was a big deal in the moment. I was like, oh, I'm going a little slower, it's okay. But I ended up getting completely lost because I wasn't really paying full attention to the trail, and it was like not a well-used path. And anyway, long story short, it took me so long just to get back to like the trailhead because I was completely lost. I couldn't figure out where I was going because I had taken my eyes off the trail, off the path. I didn't realize I was doing that. I was like, I think the trail goes here, but somewhere along the way I lost it, and it was pretty overgrown. And let me tell you, it was really hard to find my way back. And I feel like some of the message for you is just learning to not get distracted, learning not to care what other opinions people have, any negativity, any setbacks, any people who don't get you, any people that have something nasty to say or see the bad in you or don't see the good or don't see the potential or don't get what you're doing. A big part of this path is to learn to just block it out and to not be taken down by it, not to be like fixated or obsessed or have your mind go into like, oh my God, I can't believe they're saying this, or maybe this isn't meant for me, or maybe they're right, or, I've had so much trouble at work. This has been so difficult. Maybe it's not for me. A lot of it is learning that perseverance, learning to continue to take those steps one in front of the other, and just to keep going and just to keep your eyes on that trail and not to allow yourself to even think about like, okay, should I get off here? Should I stop? Maybe I should go over there instead. But just like, okay, I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to stay focused and I'm going to achieve whatever success I want to achieve. I feel like for you, this is about really learning to almost like hunker down and block out the noise. You could have a destiny that is associated with cutting certain people out, going no contact with certain people, like stepping away from something that has been expected of you. Like maybe you grew up in a very, I don't know, traditional culture or a family that had very rigid expectations of how you were supposed to act and how people in the family were supposed to behave. And this is about learning to kind of cut that out and being like, respectfully, I don't really care because I have to form my own path. So no offense to you, and I'm not mad about it. I'm not bitter. I'm not hateful, but I'm going to do me. I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to pursue my path, and I don't really care what you have to say about it. I feel like there's a lot of independence coming through in this. There's a lot of individualistic energy about, like I said, forging your own path and not paying as much attention to what anyone else is doing, but just like keeping your eyes on that prize, keeping your eyes focused on where you want to go. It's kind of like when you have a destination in mind, like you're traveling somewhere or you're driving somewhere or whatever, or walking somewhere, you put that destination into your Google Maps, right? If you're like me and you're completely reliant on your phone to navigate and you like don't know how to get anywhere without your phone, then you put that into your Google Maps app or whatever, Apple Maps, whatever you use, and that's what you go off of. You wouldn't think of like, okay, I have to go run to do this errand at blah, blah, blah store, but donuts would be nice. I'm kind of craving donuts. Let me put in the donut place. You know what I mean? Like you might think, oh, donuts would be nice. But I have to go buy this. I have to do this. I have to get to work, So you're not just going to get distracted by something and just veer off the road and just completely lose track. You will put that destination in and you will keep heading there. Even if you hit traffic, even if it's like you have to go a different path than you expected, even if maybe one road is closed and you have to go around and take another one, you're going to stay focused on like, okay, that's my destination. As long as I end up there, that's all that matters. And I feel like that's a part of your destiny, is learning this perseverance, learning this inner strength, and that you can get through all this stuff. And you don't have to worry about what anyone else has to say or anyone else's input or opinion of you or their path or what they're doing, because this is about focusing on yourself. Pile number 3. Let's get into some astro dice for you. Ooh. Let's get into some astro dice for you. Pile number 3. So we have Mars in Cancer in the 7th house. Wow. That is so interesting. Technically, Mars is not super happy in the 7th house because it is the house of Libra, where it's not super comfortable, and it's also not really, really comfortable in Cancer as well. But what's coming to my mind with that is actually what I have heard, and this is something that so many people are really surprised by, is there are a lot, and this is something I noticed, and then I heard other astrologers talk about it as well, but if you do the charts of a lot of champion fighters, there's a lot of like the soft water signs, like Pisces and Cancer. There's so many Pisces that are top fighters. So many. And also I've noticed a lot of like Cancer Mars. And I also feel like those people tend to be very emotional fighters. For example, like Conor McGregor, I think, is a Cancer Sun, Cancer Mars, and he seems to be someone that really uses his emotions to fight. So what's coming through to me with you guys with Cancer Mars in the 7th house is that like there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? A lot of times we have a very rigid idea of what we expect. Like I said, if you're looking at, who is this champion boxer or MMA fighter? A lot of times people would just expect straight up, it's going to be Aries, it's going to be Scorpio, it's going to be maybe Capricorn. We're going to have these traditional kind of Mars energy, Mars aligned placements that have the perseverance, and they're very tough, they're very aggressive. But again, there's so many Pisces. It's like crazy how overrepresented Pisces are with top MMA fighters and boxers and stuff like that. And a lot of astrologers have speculated on why that is. But, you know, that's the thing about Pisces. It's a mutable sign. It will kind of shift and go with the flow about whatever energy you need to be bringing forth. So why am I bringing this up? I feel like sometimes, you know, we get in our head that there's one way to go about something. We have to be a certain way. I couldn't do it because I'm not that way. And the reality is that sometimes it's about forging your own path. It's about doing your own thing. It's about, someone might say, well, you have a lot of cancer. You're probably a little crybaby. You're not tough enough to be a champion fighter. But it's like, not only am I tough, but I'm going to actually funnel that emotion. You can see that, like I said, in some top fighters, they use their emotions. They'll deliberately upset themselves before a fight. I just read this story about this top female fighter, and she found out that her husband was cheating on her like 2 weeks before the fight. He was also her coach. And so she found out that he was cheating like 2 weeks before she had to fight this huge fight. And she initially thought, like, I don't even think I can do this. Like, I'm in so much distress. I can't process this. And then she learned to channel that into the fight. And she actually, like, completely won the fight. Like, the other person was in really bad shape because it was like she just lost her mind, poured all her energy into this fight. Now, I didn't do her chart. I don't know if she has cancer. I don't know if she has water or Pisces or anything. But my point is that sometimes it is that thing. People will say, well, you have to be unemotional to do this. And it's like, no, watch me funnel the emotion. They'll say, you can't do it in this mindset. You can't do it in this emotional state. You're too upset. And it's like, no, I'm going to take that emotion. I'm going to channel it. I'm going to pour it into this, and I'm going to make it happen. And it's not just about specifically like Cancer or Pisces placements or even Libra placements. It's about, you know, there's different ways to make something happen. Mars is also technically in fall in Libra, but I have noticed from a lot of Mars Libra, like they are good at accomplishing a lot of things. They're not going to do it directly. They're not going to have the stamina of a Mars in Capricorn, but they can be very sneaky about it. They can be good at planting seeds. They can be good at sabotaging you behind your back or gossiping or, you know, being passive aggressive with you. And you know what? That's one way to accomplish it. People can look down on that or say it's dishonest, but it's like, hey, if you're getting the job done, that's all that matters, right? So I feel like for you guys, this is this message that for you, it's about blocking out, again, what other people have to say and just focusing on your own path, focusing on doing it your way and having some kind of major accomplishment, having some kind of breakthrough that everyone else gets to see and everyone else gets to witness. It is about realizing that maybe your skills that someone else might look down on, someone else might say, hey, that's not going to work. And you showing like, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to succeed on my terms. I don't really care what you think. I don't really care what you have to say. In your opinion is noise to me, because you know what? I am going to get it done, but it's going to be on my terms. It's going to be something that may be unexpected. Again, this is not a super strong Mars according to traditional astrology. Mars in Cancer in the 7th house, I don't think many astrologers would be like, wow, this is awesome. This is an ideal Mars placement. But you know what? I feel like it can be so effective. I've also noticed this with like Mars and Mercury in Pisces. Like technically I have an exalted Mars in Capricorn, but I'm telling you, I really don't like dealing with Mars in Pisces or Mercury in Pisces because I feel like they just psychically know what to say. They psychically know what to do to get under your skin. Meanwhile, I have like a Mercury in Aquarius, Mars in Capricorn. Technically, those are really good placements. But I always feel like that's the thing. I'm trying to argue with the rules. I'm trying to be like, okay, we're going to play by these terms. And then like a Mars in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces comes in. They're kind of talking gibberish. They're not playing by the rules. They're swimming around. But you know what? They always end up winning, or they'll end up like cracking a joke at your expense. And you're like, that has nothing to do with what I said. But they end up taking the win, you know, and making you look like a fool. And that's my point, is someone can say all day, oh, this is where something is exalted, or this is the only way you can be to accomplish this success. The reality is there's different ways to go about it. There's different ways to win. And it's not always about playing by the rules, coloring inside the lines, or doing things by everyone else's terms. So part of your destiny could be really surprising people or showing them that there's more than one way to go about it and doing it on your terms in a way that maybe no one else would expect. I want to get into these cards for you. Pile number 3. So let's see. What is pile number three's destiny or purpose in this life? What is pile number three's destiny or purpose in this life? Family tree, expansion, legacy, currents of emotion, uncontrolled feelings, conscious steps, considered action, looking forward, sensitivity and strength, tapping the forces within. And finally, letting go of urgency, surrender, freedom from time constraints. So this is also making me think of like this Cancer energy that you guys have gotten. Sensitivity and strength, currents of emotions, and part of your life destiny could be showing people that you can be sensitive and have success. You can be almost like fragile. You don't have to be so tough. You don't have to be this rock solid like ball of strength. You can be someone that is soft on the inside or soft on the outside or goes about things in a different way. It's like, you know, what's coming to my mind is the Trojan horse. Like apparently that won the battle, right? But it was brought in like it was a gift and it was given as a disguise of like, oh, you know, we just want to thank you so much. So here's this beautiful horse. And then of course, that's how they won the battle and they like killed everyone. And that's so like Mars and Libra pretending something is like, yeah, I'm just doing this to be nice. And then you stab the person in the back. But you know what? It got the job done. It won the battle. And that's all that matters. So again, a lot of people can disguise that or can mistake that and think like, oh, okay, this person is not a factor. This person is weak. This person is not someone I have to look out for. And part of your destiny may be being underestimated, maybe surprising people, maybe having people like count you out at the beginning or think, oh, pile three isn't really a force to be reckoned with. Pile three is a pushover. Pile three is a failure. And then I feel like there is this like frustrating energy coming through where people sometimes get really like annoyed because they will see you have this success. And it's almost like they told themselves this narrative about you about like, oh, pile number three, they're easy to deal with. You know what? I'm not even going to put any effort into them. Like, pile number three is never going to do anything. Oh my God, they're not serious. And then you end up like surprising them, shocking them, and it may really irritate people. I feel like some of you guys, you may find yourself like getting under people's skin, people getting annoyed by you, people feeling like they are just like angry because you are so surprising them. They didn't expect you to have this level of success. They didn't expect you to be thriving. They expected you to be, you know, failing, flailing, not figuring everything out. And then you end up being the one who is the biggest winner, being the one who has the most success over everything. And that's what I feel like in a way you are meant to trigger people. You are meant to take them by surprise or even teach them a narrative that success doesn't look a certain way. Maybe they have a preconception around what success looks like, whether that's a physical appearance, a group you're supposed to belong to, a way you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to present yourself, how you're supposed to speak, etc., so on and so forth. And then I feel like when they see you, it's like you're supposed to kind of take them by surprise. Like, wait a minute, someone like that, someone like pile three is not supposed to have success. Pile number three, they're supposed to be failures. They're supposed to be the ones that I knock out easily. And yet they're the one who had the biggest success over everyone. So yeah, I do feel like people are supposed to witness this. And again, some of your life purpose and destiny may be learning not to take any of this seriously. If you get this weird energy from others, if you feel like people are sometimes hating on you, it's learning to just block that out and learning to have that tunnel vision of focusing on all the things you want to accomplish, all the things you want to do, instead of worrying so much about what they have to say. And learning that you have this inner strength that like it's not even going to affect you. It's not even going to land on you because you may be being divinely protected. And because your power and strength is so strong, it may not be something they can predict or something they would expect, but you do have this inner strength. Let me get into these messages for you. Pile number three. What messages do we have for pile number three about their destiny, life purpose? Let's see. So we got deep inward journey. You'll be rewarded for the work. How can you alchemize your fear? And this one is, you cannot make a mistake. There are infinite possibilities available to you. Where is your heart guiding you? Wow. So yeah, I feel like, there definitely is this energy of being rewarded for the work, being rewarded for the setbacks, being rewarded for the hate directed at you, having some kind of payback. It's almost like you may also have a destiny to have these haters or the negativity revealed to you, like facing a level of nastiness or negativity or just hater vibes, like being at a workplace and you just know your coworkers just hate you or just don't have the best intentions for you, or being in a family where you know you're the scapegoat, or being in a friend group and they screw you over, and seeing that payback and getting rewarded at the end of that, getting vindicated. There's something very spiritually powerful about that. That's why, like, whether you're Christian or not, the story of Jesus is a powerful one, because it is the martyr. It is being nailed to the cross and being persecuted and then rising from the dead. And that's why it's such a powerful story, because if he just had like a hard day and a couple people didn't really like him that much, it wouldn't resonate like that. He had to be like killed. That's part of it. Some of the journey of having a major success is just feeling like you do get so much hate, so much nastiness directed at you, so much negativity, and then being vindicated in the end. So if that's something you guys have been going through, if you have been feeling like people have had it out for you, people are negative or nasty towards you, this could totally be a part of your destiny, pile number 3. And it could be meant for you to show them that, like, you're not able to bring me down. Look at me. I'm going to have success no matter what. And I am not going to allow you to take me away from that. Let's get some message cards for you. Pile number 3. What messages do we have for pile number 3? Okay. So this one is cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. Double mission, light worker, starseed, serve the world by being you. And called, soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. So, wow, I love this rock bottom card, because again, I feel like a big part of your mission is kind of like people who may see you and they may be destined to see you not doing well. They may even be destined to, kind of take pleasure in, like, oh, look what happened to pile number 3. They're doing really badly. They're struggling. And I love that for them. This could be like you're the family member that for a while it looks like, oh my God, pile 3 is just doing so bad. They are failing. They had to drop out of college, or they're not doing well with their career, or whatever. They haven't had a good love life. They're single all the time. And then again, coming from surprise, I feel like some of this is about you learning to keep things private as well. With this called card as well, I feel like it's about you learning to block out the messages of other people or what anyone else has to say, and learning to come from that place of deep intuition, like learning that you don't really care about getting the approval of others. You don't really care about what anyone else has to say. What you care about and what you're going to focus on is your inner voice, and their opinions and their attitudes towards you really don't matter that much, And a lot of this could be like, we got light worker for you guys. You guys could be a major light worker. A lot of light workers are destined to go through some kind of major setback. They're destined to be misunderstood. They're destined to have that triggering quality where people get opposed to them. People can feel their power. People can feel their presence. People can feel their disruptive quality, that they are meant to transform the collective, and they don't like them. They want to stick with the status quo. They want to stick with the safety zone. So they feel this energy and this resonance of someone that has come through with a destiny to change things, and they immediately find themselves opposing that person, getting angry towards that person, pushing back against that person. And again, I don't feel like this is anything for you to take seriously as like, oh my God, I need to change, or I wish I fit in, or, you know, oh my God, like I'm an idiot, I'm a loser because these people don't like me. But instead to learn to stand strong in your mission, to stand 10 toes down with like, I know I'm here for a reason, and I know I'm carrying out a higher purpose, and I know part of that mission is being misunderstood. And that's why so many spiritual leaders, like I said, Jesus, but there's lots of others, whenever there's a like powerful spiritual leader, a lot of times that's part of their destiny, is to be like burnt at the stake or misunderstood or have people hate them, because there is something so powerfully alchemizing about that. And almost any time you have come through with a mission to change, you're going to irritate people. People are going to hate you. People are going to dislike you. People are going to be oppositional towards you, but it doesn't actually mean that your mission is wrong or that you're doing something bad. A lot of times it just means that those people are not ready for you yet, and you are meant to transform, and they're meant to maybe figure it out in the end if they ever do. But they're meant to misunderstand you. They're meant to be a hater. And you know what? That's okay. Because as long as you carry out this beautiful, huge mission that I do feel like you have, Pile 3, then hey, you know, nothing else really matters. And this may be part of your journey, is being vindicated at the end after getting a lot of hate and a lot of pushback and a lot of nastiness directed at you in the meantime. So that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I really hope that resonates, guys. If it does, make sure to leave this video a like, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that little bell. All those things really help the channel. And as always, let me know in the comments, because I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your thoughts, your reactions. So please let me know what you think. And if you would like to see more of my content, then be sure to head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about messages from your future husband. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're wanting to hear some messages from your spouse in the future down the road, then be sure to watch that one. But there is so much content to choose from. Like I said, over 100 readings. And then you also get to be the first to watch all my YouTube videos. If you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, actually, I think I am tamping down on that right now. I needed a little bit of a break. So if there's still booking availability up, then feel free to book, but I am going to be going on pause for a little while. Anyway, you can head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, to see my availability for private readings, if there are any still available at this time. And hopefully I will be back soon, able to film as many videos and do private readings again. But for the time being, I am taking a little bit of a break. And yeah, but thanks for watching, guys. I'm sending you all my love, and I will see you very soon again in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.